I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and hey, what a delight to have with us today Steve Milloy. He's recognized as one of the leaders in fight against junk science, with more than 25 years of accomplishments and credits that are just extended beyond measure here. He's an attorney. He's also the founder and the publisher of junkscience.com, which is also the website, junkscience.com. And we have a lot to talk to him about today. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for your time. Good to see you today.
Thanks for having me.
By the way, there was a picture of the book there on the screen. Well, let's start off. What do you think of President Trump's pick to head up the EPA, Mr. Scott Pruitt?
Well, I think it's fantastic. Scott Pruitt has spent the last 8 years suing EPA. He has filed 14 lawsuits against the out-of-control EPA. There's no one that knows EPA's unlawful ways more than Scott Pruitt. So he is the perfect guy to bring EPA back within the bounds of the law.
The struggle, as you well know, Scott, between global warming, junk science, EPA out of control has been overwhelming. So what do you think will happen now with this administration with the EPA?
Well, I was part of the EPA transition team, and I can't say what's going to happen in the future because I don't know. But hopefully today, around 1 o'clock Eastern time, Scott Pruitt will be confirmed as administrator and sworn in almost immediately. And hopefully next week, after the President's Day holiday, President Trump will start issuing executive orders dealing with EPA and the environment. And I'm hoping that these executive orders rein in much of the EPA's unlawful activity, including its global warming rules, its land grab effort through the WOTUS, or Waters of the United States rule. We've got a lot of science to reform an EPA. There's a lot to do, and I hope it gets started next week.
In your opinion, Scott, Steve, excuse me, in your opinion, how out of control is the EPA?
I think EPA is the most toxic federal agency there is.
Wow.
I think EPA has killed literally trillions of dollars worth of economic growth and GDP in this country. I've been working on EPA for 25 years. EPA started in 1970. I think largely by the time I started working on EPA issues, EPA had accomplished its mission. Our skies were clean, our water was clean, and the environment was safe. And in my entire 25-year career working on EPA issues, I've seen nothing but outrageous regulatory overreach that has cost this economy trillions of dollars. Over the last 8 years, in the Obama administration, we've seen thousands of coal mining jobs just go, up in smoke. And of course, once those jobs go, there's a lot of support jobs, and this entire community suffer for no environmental gain or benefit at all.
Now, your book talks about a lot of this, and you disclosed a lot of this in your book. And let me say to our viewers and listeners, you may want to check this out. It's called Scared Pollution. There's a picture of it there on the screen, Why and How to Fix the EPA by Steve Milloy. So check it out at the bookstores. One of the things you brought up is the illegal human experiments. What is that?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to simplify it. So EPA has claimed for about 20 years now that outdoor air kills many people, like 600,000 people a year, 1 in 4 American deaths. This claim is based on some really bad statistical abuse. In order to support its statistical abuse, EPA decided, well, we actually need some scientific or medical data. So to try to develop that data, EPA began a series of really, ghastly human experiments where, they set up a situation where they have a diesel truck pumping exhaust literally into a gas chamber. And inside the gas chamber, they put elderly people, asthmatics, people with heart disease, people with diabetes, people with combinations thereof, elderly people with heart disease. And they expose them to very high levels of pollution to see if they can cause something bad to happen. At the University of Southern California and UCLA, EPA even experimented with 10-year-old children spraying very high levels of diesel exhaust up their nostrils. So I uncovered all this. And, the irony, of course, is that even though EPA was doing these ghastly experiments and not telling the human guinea pigs what it thought might happen, or that it thought there was a risk of death, in fact, nothing happened. And these experiments actually contradict their statistical claims of all these deaths. Nonetheless, I mean, it was an incredible discovery of malfeasance by EPA, and it's just another reason why EPA needs to be reined in by someone like Scott Pruitt.
Okay, as you well know, there continues to be quite the struggle in the science community about global warming, climate change. I mean, we've seen all the terms of words change, which plays into the EPA agenda. And it's amazing to me that even the science community is so divided. Where is this going?
Well, hopefully it's all over now. President Trump campaigned on pulling us out of the Paris Climate Treaty. One of his first actions after he was sworn in was to announce that he was going to basically revoke EPA's global warming rules that were promulgated under President Obama. So I'm hoping that that continues and that all these rules just kind of go away. Now, that doesn't mean the debate is going to go away. The environmentalists are going to scream bloody murder. In fact, they're on the Senate floor today as they debate Pruitt's nomination, screaming bloody murder. They have plenty of money. They have nothing else to do. This is a major part of their cause and their political agenda. So the screaming and debate is not going to go away. But hopefully the federal government's aiding and abetting of this left-wing power grab will stop.
Where do you think the balance is, Steve, between the extreme environmental agenda and genuine conservation?
Well, it's kind of a false debate. The environmentalists like to set themselves up as, on a higher moral plane than the rest of us. I mean, we all breathe the same air, drink the same water, want a safe environment. And in fact, we already have these things. It's no longer 1970. We have spent, an incalculable amount of money and effort across society, at states and on the federal level, cleaning up our environment. And that was largely accomplished by 1990. Since then, it's just been regulatory overkill. So, the notion, the environmentalists are out there saying, well, if Scott Pruitt runs EPA, we're going to somehow wind up like Beijing in terms of air quality. And, I mean, that's just crazy. There's, no one is rolling back actual environmental protection. What's going to stop is the environmental regulatory overreach by EPA.
Interesting. So where's the carbon tax going to go? You think it's going to die?
I think it's already dead. I know that some Republican elders supposedly met with Trump administration officials earlier in the week to talk about a carbon tax, but that's not going anywhere. Yeah. First off, I don't. President Trump campaigned against that kind of nonsense. We have a Republican Congress. They're not going to raise taxes on energy. They're supposed to be, making energy cheap and affordable and helping our economy grow. Taxes don't do that. There's no place in the world where carbon taxes or carbon trading work. It's just a failed idea. I have no idea. There are just some big government Republicans out there that just, they think government is a solution to everything. They think more taxes. For some reason, they give credence to the global warming nonsense. And so they were meeting with the Trump administration. To the Trump administration's credit, they'll meet with anybody. But it doesn't mean that they're going to do what was recommended.
Well, it's interesting. Somehow global warming or climate change is a bigger threat than ISIS these days. So right. We'll have to see where that goes. So is your overall goal to see that Al Gore's unemployed?
well, I don't think that can happen because... one thing the environmentalists have been successful at is whipping up a base of support. I mean, they own the public school system. The last, more than probably a generation of children have grown up thinking that the environment is toxic for their health. Certainly, over the last 10 years, every child has been brainwashed about global warming. So we've got a ready-made, supply of zombies out there for the likes of Al Gore to take advantage of. One of the things I'm hoping is that the Trump administration can somehow get in and, fix the school system. Let's get, the federal government and the propaganda out of schools. Let's start teaching our kids about real science and the inquiry and how to do science and questions to ask rather than just giving them received wisdom.
Wow. Well, this is very interesting. Let me encourage our viewers to check it out. It's called Scare Pollution. That's Steve's book, and there's a picture of it there on the screen. Why and how to fix the EPA, Steve Milloy. His website is junkscience.com. You may want to check that out as well. Hey, let's stay in touch, Steve, and let's see how it is maybe 60 days down the road, what Secretary Pruitt may do or have gotten done, and if he's got the power of the president behind him. This is going to be an interesting battle. I don't think this is going to just go away. This is going to be loud and noisy, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And so I look forward to coming back.
All right. Nice to see you, friend. Take care. All right. We'll be right back.